What's going on, Victor?
How's it going? Last minute over here. But we're competing. We're about to source some really great books. Neither one of us have actually looked at any have looked at BookMine today. So we're literally just going in and trying to buy some books. So I think it's
Yep.
gonna be a blast to do it. And I don't know how many books you're gonna find or me, but it'll be a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah. So a few reasons why I want to do this. One, the Olympics are going on right now. I'm watching some athletes compete, and I'm like, wow, Victor and I, we need to compete against each other. Why not? And I figured that if it's me against Victor, the worst I could do is silver. So that's not too bad. The other reason why I want to do it is people always ask us like, well, how many books can you buy in an hour? Like, how long does it take you to source? So I thought, hey, why don't we actually just go live sourcing and just show you in
Hmm.
a 15-minute time span what it would look like. Now, if you're somebody who's watching this later on because you weren't able to be live, we're going to wait a couple minutes just to let people come in. But essentially, we are going to do a live head-to-head battle, 1v1. We're going to go on BookMine. I'm going to be sharing my screen, so you guys will be seeing it through my perspective. And I'm not going to be doing tons of talking because I'm going to be doing my best to beat Victor. So I can't be talking too much, but
So
keep in
you're
mind.
gonna be serious about this. Okay,
Oh,
I
I'm
gotta get
serious.
ready.
I'm serious.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm serious about this. In the private, obviously in the chat, everyone, you can feel free to ask
Yeah.
questions along the ways, and we'll get to it at the end. But I'm gonna, one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this is because I wanted people to see what my workflow looks like. Generally, when I make a YouTube video or I go live and I do sourcing, I'm like talking a lot, and that's because I'm trying to help people understand what my thought process is. But I don't think I've ever just like sourced and been quiet and just like this is kind of what my workflow looked like. This is how I would
Mhm.
actually buy books. And again, we're going to be doing this for about 15 minutes. So, this will be kind of what you could expect if you were to try BookMine out, like what you could find in 15 minutes. And again, Victor and I are very seasoned. We've been doing this a long time, but there's tons of opportunity out there. So I'm excited for this 1v1 battle.
And just so you know, just to help you out a little here. Yesterday I was me and Romer made a video, and he gave me 20 minutes of sourcing, and I sourced $500 worth of books, like
Okay.
$500 worth of profit in books in 20 minutes.
Okay.
So,
So this is going to be, yeah, I got my work cut out for me here. A couple of things that we want to go ahead and share with you all first there, if you are here.
mhm.
A couple of important things. One, we do have our book conference coming up, Books and Beyond, September 13th through 15th. We got an awesome speaker lineup. Make sure you go check out who's going to be there. I mean, just an incredible lineup. Grab your tickets. Prices, the ticket prices are only going to go up as we get closer. And it'd be really awesome just to selfishly meet everyone there, meet all the speakers, but even meet you guys there. So that is coming up. We're barely a little over a month away. So we've got a
Mhm.
lot of awesome people going to come. Victor and I will be there. We got Steve, we got Caleb Roth, we've got
Easy.
Avery, we got Reezy. I mean, we've
Mhm.
got Mel from back from Burnout. We got Amanda. We got Shanna. So we got tons of people are going to be coming. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that um, while we do this head-to-head live sourcing battle, you guys can actually access the spreadsheet that we're going to be using, and that's going to be linked down below in the description. So again, we're going to be live sourcing for 15 minutes. I won't necessarily be talking a bunch, but we're going to be adding some very basic information to help you guys out here. So we're going to give the keep a link so you know what product we would buy, put our buy cost, and Victor, let's just round it to the nearest whole number. Like, don't worry about 3602, just like $36.
Okay. Okay.
Target price, again, just put like, $75 if you think we can sell it for 75.
Okay,
And
so
then,
that's our target selling price. Okay, I got it.
yeah,
Okay.
target selling price.
Okay.
Okay. And then the min and max price would be okay. Like, let's say, we bought a book. We're saying buy this book for 25. Our target price is 60,
Okay.
min price 55, max price
Yeah.
65, something like that. And
Okay,
then
so
number
I'm
of
thinking I'm
copies.
probably going to sell it for at $60, but this is what
Right.
I would set my min and max to.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
all right.
Because people always have a hard time with like, okay, well, where would you go in terms of your min and max price if you're using a
Yeah.
repricer? So there you go. That's what we think you could sell it at, but we're happy selling it between those values. And then
Okay.
we're gonna say how many copies we'd be happy to buy. So for like, oh, we'd buy one copy of this, we'd buy two copies of this, and so forth. You can put that there. Does that make sense, Victor?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
I'm actually happy you're explaining that to me because I didn't know which way we were going to go.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
cool. All
No,
right.
I want to make sure that we're all here. And then the other thing is, if I just open a random keep a link, obviously we're gonna go ahead and paste the keep a link here, which is keep a link. So anyone out there that's looking at the spreadsheet, all you'd have to do is open up the keep a link, and that would show you, the data of that book, so you can make your own decision if you wanted to. But then also, you guys easily have the Amazon link there. You also have the eBay link if you want to buy the book on Amazon or eBay. So that's for everyone out there and for anyone who watches this later. And so again, we want to just give you guys behind the scenes of what this looks like, show you what 15 minutes of sourcing might look like. And I think it's a lot of fun. Now, some other things that I want to show you is that you guys also down below can access a free 10-day trial BookMine if you want, if you think that this is awesome and you want to give it your own shot. So,
Mhm.
BookMine will be linked down below. Essentially, just to put it, yourself through the perspective of what it would look like, you would go ahead and log in as if you're a user. So
Yeah.
like this, so you go and log in. And when you log in, you'll see a dashboard. Okay. And so you'll see your BookMine app, which is what we'll be sourcing off here in a second. But we also have a link to some BookMine training. Now, there are different tiers. Remember, there are different tiers. And I guess I can show you guys that right here as well, just so you guys are aware. Is that our cheapest plan, the $129 a month, is just simply access to BookMine and the Facebook community group. So everybody will have basically the BookMine app, BookMine training, and then you'll have this down here, private BookMine Facebook community group.
Yeah.
A link there. Now, if you're part of the middle tier plan, which is additional coaching, where Victor and I twice per month meet with the Gold Prospector group, then you would also in your dashboard see this twice monthly group coaching. And if you were to click on that, you actually would see all of our most recent videos. So July 2nd, July 18th, July 4th, every 2 weeks, we have a class about a specific topic. So you would see that there. And then the last one is if you are part of the Gold Miner tier, then you actually can meet with Victor or I for 30 minutes once a month. And that's actually going to be a link to our calendars here. So if we click on that, there's Victor's, let's see. Oh, okay. I don't have permission to view this account with what I'm logged into right now, but you would see basically our calendars there. So
Yeah.
hopefully does that make sense, Victor?
Oh, it definitely does. And also, we keep on improving this, right? Now we actually have Chet that will help us or help everybody out actually
Right.
every other week. When we're not training, he's actually doing some training.
Yep.
So just so that even at the gold panel level,
Yeah.
you can still get some
Yep.
BookMine
Yep.
training.
Yep. So there's
Yeah.
Chet right there, a couple of his
Yeah.
recent classes there. So you guys will be able to access that. All right. So hopefully that makes sense, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, just see who the heck is in the chat. So we've got ourselves with Chelsea saying, hey, how's it going? We've
Yeah.
got Bob, let's get it
Let's get
on.
it
Rosemary says,
on.
BookMine battle. BookMine battle. Chet says, what team do I cheer for?
Yeah. Good
And
point. Yeah.
that's a good question. Team Joji or Team Victor? They are both winners, says Rosemary. Oh, I want to know in the
Who
chat
knows? I
right
might not
now.
actually not source very few books. I have no idea. I'm actually stressed out about this.
Yeah. No, it's all from the
Yeah.
competition. Worst
Yeah.
case, either of us can do is a silver medal, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, let us know in the comments section. Give us a let's see, give us a 1 in the chat if you think Joji's gonna take it, and a 2 in the chat if you think Victor
Ooh.
is gonna take it. That way you don't have to feel bad about typing somebody's name. Just put a 1 or a 2. Who's gonna take it? I think this is gonna be fun, Victor. I think this
Oh
is
yeah,
gonna
I
be
know
fun.
it's gonna be a ton of fun. I mean, at least I'm gonna stress out for a minute, but let's see what happens.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
then I think some people will get to see how truly powerful BookMine is, and then
Yeah,
realizing, wow, I'm really over analyzing books.
yeah,
But I find that a lot, where a lot of
yeah.
people are just sitting there really trying to dig into so much data, and I'm like, well, the ROI with books is just so high that if it's more than likely, just buy it. Like the chances are then pretty high. You don't have to be like, oh, definitely it's going to be guaranteed.
Ooh. Got Raymond coming in,
Ooh,
Bob, Michelle. Ooh, okay, it's tied 2-2. And again, this is all just for fun, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mem says, would you recommend BookMine for beginners? I think at least give it a trial. And I would
Hmm.
say that you might not be ready to go full time with it, because if you are a beginner and you haven't really done this much, it'll be probably a little bit difficult in the beginning. There's some learning they have to do. But what I will say is BookMine's a great learning tool. So you could at least take a free trial, take cancel right before you get charged, and
Yeah,
you'll see what kind of keeper graphs you should be looking at. And then what we'd probably recommend is some sort of just traditional, like keep a deal sourcing is a great
yeah.
way to get started. Build some of your capital. And then once you can play with the big boys and the big girls, then you're going to come back to BookMine.
I think what would help is going to our BookMine channel, watching the videos
Yeah.
there, and if you're starting to understand that, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I understand this graph because we're showing graphs, right?
Yeah.
And if that graph makes sense to you, you're understanding it, like this black line, what it's doing, and you can understand that. Definitely, I would take a trial of BookMine from there. But if like you're like looking at that and you're like, okay, I need some more information, continue to watch some of Joji's videos. Also, I have a seasonal Facebook group, Seasonal Book Arbitrage Facebook group. Both of those really helpful.
Yep.
So get as much like information like that ready, and then decide, right?
Yep.
But that's up to you, and each person's different. I have people who literally are just starting out with books and go all in. Literally are logging in 10 times a day, buying like, I think one guy was like his second day and he bought like 50 books that day. So there's just different types of people, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'd recommend watching the BookMine Academy. So we do have a BookMine channel called, or we have a YouTube channel called BookMine, right?
Mhm.
And the BookMine Academy is a 23 video series where we teach you all about Keepa, all the graphs, what you should be looking out for. Uh, so I would highly recommend going through that if you're a beginner. And I'm gonna go ahead and paste that here in the chat for you so you guys have access to that. But with that said, we're gonna get started here pretty quickly. All right. So let's see. Egan says, "Let's go." Somebody's dad missing. No, we're about to get
No,
right
we're
into the
about to
thick
do
and
it
thin of
actually.
it. That's what I'm doing, says Lynn. I learned a lot on BookMine. Just paused it for a bit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And the thing is, BookMine will always be there, right? We're not going anywhere. The goal is to make it the best sourcing software on the planet. The best. Our goal is to basically make sourcing easier for people, so that you
Mhm.
guys can spend time, doing things that you love outside of just books. So
We hope to make at least 100 people financially free with this
yeah,
software. That is
yeah.
our goal. We were actually decided that we talked about that behind the scenes, and we're doing our best to make that happen. So
Nice, nice. This is your
this
father-in-law. That's let me yeah, awesome.
who's that?
This is your father-in-law.
My father-in-law,
I think so, right?
or is that your father-in-law? I
I
have
don't know,
no
I think it's
idea.
your father-in-law. I don't know.
I
What one of the
Or he's just saying that to throw us
I don't
off.
know. I don't know.
it
Best
doesn't
time to
it
source.
doesn't it doesn't look like my father-in-law's like name, but
Yeah,
well, maybe so.
yeah.
Okay.
Raymond says best time to source.
Oh,
Really anytime. I mean,
yeah.
Amazon's
Yeah.
open 24/7, so you guys can you can source whenever you want. I generally source at nighttime. That's when my son goes to bed. I normally
Yeah.
source between 10:30 and midnight, but I can tell you I've sourced in the morning and afternoon before and haven't really found any difference. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I have the same thing. It used to be that Amazon always checked in FBA books at like early in the morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning. And so sometimes people would not put their like prices in correctly at that
Gotcha.
time. So it's like a really great time to source, like 2 in the morning. But that's since changed because Amazon's now checking in books at any like all day long. So it's not really something you can really take advantage of. But
Yeah.
so now I've just sourced all day. I mean, there's not a specific time that I found is like, oh yeah, 5 o'clock. But
Yeah.
I got to be here at 5 because there's just great deals on. So
What I found is that it's essentially just all throughout the day, there's amazing deals, and
mhm.
you're gonna miss amazing deals if you're not on a 24/7, which obviously we're not expecting anyone to be on a 24/7. So the point is like if you're gonna find great deals at any time during the day, but you're also going to lose on great deals because you're not there all throughout the day. So that's why everyone can kind of walk out ahead and be okay.
Yeah,
That makes
and then
sense.
the biggest thing here, just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Once a day, come in at whatever time you can and do this. And this is why I think this type of sourcing is the best way out there, is because like thrift stores are only open at certain times, and even at those times, you're having to compete with other people, like literally physically, right?
Yeah.
Here, it's just whenever you choose to like get out of bed and come on your laptop, you can source, right? And
Yeah.
just fairly recently, actually, like 2 weeks ago, I think, right, Joji, you were
Yeah.
actually overseas
Yeah,
sourcing. So
I was in Italy and Switzerland sourcing, and I was
yeah,
sourcing there at
yeah,
midnight, which happened to be like 2 p.m. here, and it was like, all right, still great. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
shows you that it doesn't really matter. It's really just the consistency. It's like saying, does it matter when I work out? Nah, not really. I mean, you could go lift weights at 6 in the morning or 12, 12 midnight. I'm like, you could kind of lift weights whenever you want. As long as you lift weights every day, you're gonna be fine.
That's true.
So that's good. Okay, this is
All
Pete
right, so
telling his father. Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
so that's my father-in-law. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Awesome. All right. So, are you ready, Victor? You ready
Yeah,
to
I'm
go?
ready. So I mean, I think we need to go over the spreadsheet again for
Yep.
people who just showed
Yeah.
up. So
People who
there's a
just joined.
spreadsheet here, so you guys can come in and buy these books right off literally when we're sourcing them. So
Yep.
buy them. We're going to tell you what we should buy them at,
Buy
probably
cost.
what you probably want to sell them at, and what we would put as our min and max price. And luckily, it maybe we're going to be able to buy more than one copy. Like if you can
Yeah.
find 2 or 3 copies, buy 2 or 3 copies of this book. So
Yeah.
we're going to
Absolutely.
do that too.
Yep. You guys can feel free to, go ahead and put questions and comments in the chat while we're going. Although I'm going to be sourcing kind of just like if I'm sourcing on my own, so it's going to be a little bit
Yeah.
faster. Try to keep up if you can. If you can't, don't worry. You could be on the spreadsheet here. This is linked down below in the
Okay, I was about
description
to
of this
ask that.
video.
Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
guys want access to this spreadsheet, you can. You're not going to be able to edit anything, but you're able to move around, copy, and that's all that really matters. Open links and stuff. So, wow, we've got a bunch of people here, Victor. I'm getting nervous because there's so many people here, but I've got BookMine up, ready to go. You got BookMine up, ready to go?
Give me a second. Let me go
All right.
open it. Okay.
And then,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
ready to
And then I'm
go.
going
All
to
right.
set
So
a,
wait.
yep.
Who's gonna put a timer on it?
I'm going
You
to
or
put a
me?
timer up. I'm going to put a,
You are?
yeah, I'm going to put a
Okay.
timer up 15 minutes. Now, I'm not super fancy, so I don't know how to necessarily display it on the screen because I'll be moving back between screens here. But I'll have 15-minute timer on my phone. Right now it's 11:17 PST, so we're looking at around 11:32, 11:33 is when
Okay.
so um again, there's kind of no rules necessarily here. We're just gonna try to find as many profitable books as we can in 15 minutes. You can use any filters that you want, Victor. You can buy expensive books, you can buy cheap books, and hopefully this helps you out. I'll probably be changing the way I source the book mine, trying out different things as will Victor, although you won't be able to see Victor's screen, just see my screen. But does that make sense? Let's see if
Yeah.
anyone's excited. Who's excited in the chat? Can we get a one in the chat if you guys are excited? Can we see it, please? One in the
I think
chat.
you're
You're
just
ready.
asking for one so that people will vote for you because initially
Yes,
one
that too.
was
That too.
okay.
We got Nathan here.
Yeah. No hits below
Oh,
the
Nathan
belt.
says no hits
Thank you.
below
Exactly.
the belt, Victor. Okay.
Right. No cheating
Hey,
here.
don't be
Okay.
coming over to my spreadsheet and putting a counterfeit book on my spreadsheet,
That's
please.
true. I
Okay.
can just copy your spreadsheet and be like, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
exactly what
found
I
these
was gonna
two.
source.
All right, we've got everyone here. Chelsea Raymond, Jim. All right, we got Lulu in the chat. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure my screen's up. Victor, you can see my screen here. You can see
I
BookMine,
can see
right?
your screen. We're good to go there.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me get one last drink of water. Gloves on. You ready?
Yep. Let's go.
All right. Ready, set, go.
All right. Let's go. All right. So are we gonna even be talking at all, or is
I mean,
this
we can talk a little bit, but I'm
okay?
gonna be just like sourcing as if I were normally sourcing. So
Mm-hmm.
40. Nice. 56.
Okay. So
Okay, this is my first one already.
I don't. Am I supposed to be copying the Keepa link or the
Yeah, you
Amazon
got to
link?
copy the Keepa link.
Keepa
So
link. Okay,
you'd
cool.
open the
Yeah, I
Keepa
should
link
have
in
asked
that.
that. I should have
Yeah,
known.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Keepa link. Okay, cool. And so what was that? $12. Yeah, 12 sell
I get the
for
price on this is probably
34.
75.
Buy 12, sell for
49.
34. And then price
All
would
right, let's
be
see.
okay, like 36 then. And then 33. Max price.
100 in
Perfect.
100 in stock.
All right, so $41.
Actually, all right.
The max price is usually something I kind of just what is the max that I think this book could ever sell for, and that's kind of what I put. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You don't have to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, exactly. This is exactly what you should put as your max price.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
just know that when I'm posting this. Okay.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, this is good. 50. This is big. This is big. This is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like BookMine is so powerful here that there's just so many opportunities. I'm literally just on page 1 and I've now found the second book, right? It's
Yeah.
literally just copy and paste it here. Okay.
16.
So that would be, I'm guessing $18. Okay. And then probably buy this for like $60. Okay. 60. All right. And then max price. All right. I think we're good here. Max is like $98. And then my min price. No, it doesn't even have to be that good. Like $49.
This new edition here. How's the new edition doing relative to the old edition?
Like if you could buy like
Doing
6
pretty
copies,
well.
this would be great. 5
what do we
copies.
got here?
And be conservative.
425.
Okay.
New price.
Ooh.
New in stock.
Okay, another awesome book.
There's 32. Okay, so 25.
I wonder how many people are actually following exactly what we're doing. Like literally, like, oh,
Yeah.
he just added another book. Go buy that book.
Yeah, probably not. But
Yeah.
um,
Okay. So 16.
60. Yep.
And then wow,
Let's see.
I sell for 50. Probably min price 40, 46. On that 46. And then I don't think this is very entertaining for most. I mean, maybe
No, I
when
think
they're
this is
seeing your
great. I
screen.
think this is great, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I think because
I
people
hope
get to
so.
see like what it looks like to source, right?
Yeah. That's true. Okay.
I think this is awesome. Oh, this is great.
Okay. How many? Okay, 2.
2 copies of this if it's available.
All right. And then
There's only 2 copies available. 49 acceptable. Some corner dings comes from a guy with good feedback though. So we're looking at 54. So we can only buy 1 copy of that.
43.
54 and 105.
Okay, and then 60.
Turning center operation.
Like maybe we should do this at the Books and Beyond conference.
Oh, that'd be that could be
I
like a
think
panel.
I think people would be like rooting us on, like actually, yeah, actually at the event, like live. I think that would be fun.
Prime offers here 70.
That'd be 60.
Yeah,
and like 44 and then 42.
So we'd buy this for 32.
Probably buy 2 copies. Oh, this is fun. I even forgot the link. I'm like, go buy this book.
There you go.
And then I forgot to include a link to it. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah.
All right, we got 10 minutes left.
We already went through 10 minutes?
Oh, sorry.
We went through 5 minutes.
We
went through 5 minutes. Okay, all right. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm going really slow. Okay, all right. That makes me feel better. All right. This is another great book. 14.
Overdrawing 23.
14. So for 60. Min price. Min price would probably be 46.
Acceptable.
46.
2 acceptables. Good feedback though. So we're looking at like 13.
46 by max 89. 89. 4.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, 4 at least. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, this is a great book too.
Ooh, this one is good. This one is good right here. All right. Ooh, it's even in good condition too. Yeah, Absolute Kingdom. What is this? Spider-Man? Let's go. What's the buy cost in Spider-Man? 20? Yeah. Oh, it's actually 2 in stock. 20. Oh, this is good. So 20, 60, 55, 65. I'd buy all 3 of those. Ooh, 30. Good
30.
long-term historical selling data there. History of the Cure of Souls. Got 8 minutes, 40 seconds left, Victor.
I appreciate you telling me about this clock. It's making me feel even better.
Oh,
no, we're good.
3 good
Okay.
copies. Would be right under 20 for this one.
You know, I tried to do something like this on actually my Facebook page years ago, but I didn't do it live. So some people didn't believe it was actually real. They just thought, I don't know, they like I made it up or something. Like within an hour, I just kept on posting a ton of leads that I found, and people couldn't believe that I sourced like at 40 books in an hour. It's a lot of inventory. So it's cool to actually like, hey, we started with a blank sheet and look at us, right? So
look at us, we're going. We are going, everybody.
14.
Or Mechanical Code. That's a good book, although I think this book is likely to be counterfeit. Let's check. Make sure everyone you check for counterfeit likelihood. Pretty sure this book is. Oh, it says it's unlikely. I'm still gonna not look at it though.
Yeah, you don't want. I mean, that's important. Make sure these books are not counterfeit. You know, you want to keep your account past like the next month. So, yeah. 15.
All right, 35. Let's see.
You know, Joji, most people don't realize that me and you meet quite often. We don't necessarily source, but we do pass leads to each other while we talk about BookMine. So
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we talk about like I can't believe this book sold for that much, and we get just really giddy about it. Okay.
45, 42.
So 74. Probably will list this book for.
See what the seasonal book's
No,
looking
not
like.
that.
Ooh, that one looks good.
And then so by 19. Why not?
Anthology, that's good.
In price.
I'm assuming this one's gonna be good just with the first look. 43 in the buy box, looking at 24.
60.
Yeah, $24 for this. There's a good copy there. This person has 3 copies in like new condition. Back up into the 40s. Really, the target price on this is definitely in the 60s though. So I'm gonna say 2 copies of this, and you have to pick it up for $25. So we can say 58 to 65. 2 copies of that.
Okay.
Good too.
This is just a 1 copy. Okay, how much time do we have?
We have 6 minutes left.
Okay.
Unlikely for this book. New edition out. Let's take a look at the new edition. See if there's any mega booksellers on it. Hopefully people are still watching. I don't know. I don't know if people watching.
I have no idea. We're not even reading those comments. We're
Hopefully
acting like we're
still.
just
Hopefully
sourcing.
we're live.
Yeah. Hopefully we're still live. That would be funny if we weren't.
I don't see. Okay, I see Rock City at 72, but this book does sell a lot. So
yeah,
sells a lot. And let's see what the new edition looks like. New edition is actually super steady, really high price though. So
I do see. I see people on the spreadsheet, so at least they're looking still on the spreadsheet. So we're good there.
That's good.
40.
And let's see what the buy price would be. 29 for this. I'm probably just gonna go 1 copy here, because of the fact that we do have a mega textbook seller on it.
Okay, no to that
target.
book.
This would be like 80.
No to that book.
80.
We got another one here.
85. That's good.
Okay, so 9 and today, so 12 and 35.
Ooh, that looks good. That looks money.
12, 35.
That looks all right too. Let's look at that one.
Okay, so 40 would be my max.
14.
I'd probably buy 2.
6, probably a little too high for most people.
And what's the last one? Come on.
Postpartum, 50s and the 100s.
Got it
on Amazon. I'm gonna think this is probably gonna be okay.
2, 30.
Prime sell at 40.
33.
74. This guy's definitely lower. So let's see. Yeah, I'd say 80 is probably the target price on this. So you're looking at 28. And Goodwill Books, high feedback. So I would still buy from even though it's acceptable. So looking at 29 and going to also 80 on this. And I would say probably 175 to like 100, honestly. And I think you can only buy 1 copy. So Midnight Modern.
And Joji, you know I'm a pretty competitive guy, but usually just in tennis. So yeah.
Hey, no, I know. I'm pretty competitive in pickleball. So.
Okay.
Interestingly, this book just had a big drop in offer count. Probably not going to put it on there though, just because I've got it.
Because of the high offer count or why?
No, because
I'm not looking at the screen, but
it's like a really high price for someone to pay. I'm just gonna leave it off just because it's a little too high probably for most people. 48, 30s. What are we at down here? 14 Polish edition. 11. Yeah, I'm gonna say no to that. Ooh, this looks good right here. It's on in the 60s. A little bit of seasonality to it. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go with that one right there. Systematic.
That one's good.
$20 is what you could pick it up for.
Okay.
And let's see. Yeah,
so probably like
either one of these.
Left, right?
We have 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
2 minutes. Okay.
Yep, and I'd say 60.
We're winding this down.
60 to 75. Yep. 60.
Okay, so
575. Actually, 2 copies. Winding it down now.
Okay, so buy for 16. So okay, 45.
The flowers.
At 16, sell for 45. Probably my min price would be 40. My max
Custom
price.
lettering. Custom lettering. Anything niche, guys. Anything that's super niche, I'm very interested in.
It is 79 and 2 copies.
Custom lettering sells in the 80s.
I don't even know what book I just put up.
It's down here at 37. Really great long historical track record on that book, though, so that's good. We're gonna have to pick it up.
This is a big book. All right, this could be my last book of the time. All right, so 64. Ooh, this is big.
Yeah, I'd buy it from a prime offer, and then there's new offers up at 100 right now. Is that a prime offer though? That is not a prime offer. So yeah, I'd say 80 to 90 probably. So
120,
90. Yeah. Got 1 minute left, Victor.
I know. I feel like you're cheating on the clock or something.
I'm the only one that has access to it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm starting to stress out over here. Okay. 19.
Oh, you're good. I mean, we don't when we source, I mean, we're more relaxed, right? We're not like
right.
Wait.
70. Okay. 42. Why not? And then
43.
Which is also should show you. I think it's something that's gonna be really cool that we're gonna be able to see, which we didn't talk about at all. I bet we just totally source different books. Like
yeah, probably
just to show you that there's 2 different ways. Like there's multiple ways to source on BookMine, and you're not gonna run into each other. Okay, so this one's also good. So I'm finishing on this last book, and then we're done.
Yeah, you got 13 seconds.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So 50. Okay, so 950. All right, so I'm wrapping this up. 9, 36, 32.
Oh, all right, that is it. That's it. So enter your final values in.
Okay, I did. All right.
All right.
I'm done.
All right, everybody. What is going on in the chat? 49 people here. People didn't leave us.
Let's 49 people? We have 49. Wow, that's awesome.
All right. 50 people. All right. Seagal says, all right. Rosemary says, yes, she's following. Seagal says, yes, I'm trying to follow. Nathan says, I am, but already bought most of them days ago. Oh, okay. Chelsea said, this is good. Love it. Pretty cool. This is entertaining and helpful. I know now I need a faster computer. this is like a entertaining heavyweight boxing match. Hogan versus The Rock.
It's
absolutely.
Like we're bantering back and forth. And too bad I couldn't share my screen, because that would have been cool to like see 2 screens literally just going through book after book. But that's what you would have seen on my side too. Same thing. So yeah, I know.
Raymond says, just love how easy and simple you source good books. Looks easy, but definitely not easy to do at the beginning. I'm taking a whole day for $5. Yeah. It gets easier over time. I'll definitely tell you that. Bought before I could get low. I've had 2 copies bought before I could get them. Yep. Rosemary says, I'm buying. Jerry says, let's go. I'm still not sure these 2 are real. I think this might be 2 AIs fighting
each other.
Track these books.
Actually, we haven't even seen the results here, Joji. We're literally Who knows?
I haven't seen the results either. I'm just trying to catch up the comments. We're watching at the edge of our seats. Victor got seller amp built into his head. My seller amp is tracking me. I have to manually check if I can sell the book or not. I'm gated on many textbooks. Yeah. Oh,
that's true. You know, some of the books that I tend to like source, go look at the ones I'm sourcing. More than likely, most of those books you'll be able to source from. I tend to source really safe publishers, and so those publishers you're okay to sell them.
Yeah. Even if says when you're doing A2A, you have to be careful with counterfeits.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right.
Jerry says, smiley faces.
Yeah.
You make me dizzy, says Cindy.
You make me dizzy.
This is a competitive crowd. Only got 1 book. Nice. You bought an acceptable? Yeah, Ivan, I will absolutely buy an acceptable copy if the description looks okay, but more importantly, it's from a seller that has good feedback. So 96%, even 95% I'll go. 95%, 96%. Who I wouldn't buy an acceptable copy from is like someone under 95%, or it says like water damage or highlighting, stuff like that.
It would have been Frank that like to talk through that, and almost every one of our sourcing videos. So we have a ton of live sourcing videos, and we actually go through our thought process of what we're doing. It's a much slower process.
Yeah.
This time we just wanted to compete with each other. Like, hey, if
Yeah.
we were just sourcing, we weren't recording, how fast would we record? So it's just a different video, but every other video we've ever had, we've talked about each book we're sourcing. So I'd suggest going to look at those lives. You'll
Yeah.
find our information, our thoughts, why we would buy it or not.
And then interesting, filters did you go? I went super simple. I didn't even do. All I did was BookMine score 6 or higher. That's all I did. Most recent. That's all
Ooh,
I did.
that's pretty cool.
You-
That's a cheat on its own. I
Yeah.
didn't do that. All
Yeah.
I did was put selling meter at 3, and then
Okay.
went all in.
That's it. So you
Yeah.
went, what's going to sell more quickly? I said what I thought is potentially a better deal in terms of what's more undervalued.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
went
we'll look.
with the ultimate hack. I didn't do that. I was just trying to like go with what, every book out there, and just start sourcing. So,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. I've said some of the books restricted also. So we'll take a look to see if any of them are also restricted. But moment of truth, let's look at our spreadsheets. I'm curious to see what you had. This is my spreadsheet. So I put down 15
Okay.
and
Okay.
15 links there.
I have no idea actually how many. I just remember just doing
And
it. So,
basically most of them
okay.
were just one copy up to three,
Okay.
two, two, two. And then Victor was 16. Oh, Victor was many
Oh,
more copies. Look at that.
yeah. And
Victor had
how many books?
16. Okay, 16. All right.
And
So,
how many books, Joji? You got
way more copies than I. It's interesting. So
do,
you're
do
going,
you
but
know
you're probably
why? Do you know why I didn't tell you this initially?
more seasonal. Did you get more seasonal?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
Christmas books. I went with my
Christmas books.
patented Christmas book. I didn't tell anybody. I
Yep.
all Christmas. I mean, they're so simple to go and buy them. All this whole Christmas list, almost every one of them, I was like, oh yeah, definitely that book. Oh yeah, definitely that book. And so anyway,
Yep. Let's see who would have. So I would have spent $450 if I bought those, and you would have
yeah,
spent. Well, hold on. So let's say if we would have bought one copy of each, we'd have spent
yeah.
450. That one of them was a $116 book. If you bought one copy of each, you would have spent 273. So you would have spent a little bit less. But again, you're going after. You did more Christmas. Were all of them Christmas books or just some of them?
No, the very end was a few high school books.
Your high school books. Okay. Yeah, interesting that, and this is why it's like fun to do these battles because you learn something else. Like, oh, okay, Victor bought a lot more copies, but it makes sense. He's doing more seasonal. You might want a few
Hmm.
copies. I actually didn't do any seasonal. I went all year round, which is kind of like, very similar to what our styles are like. Like I do seasonal books more so than I've done in the past because of Victor, but I still my bread and butter still year round. And Victor's the opposite, right? Um,
Yeah,
we'll have a video that's going to be dropping on my channel in the next, I think, 2 or 3 days, where Victor had a $4,000 day, I think,
yeah, right.
and I
four
had a
thousand three hundred dollar day, and then that wasn't extremely abnormal at this time, but
yeah
4,000 was a little bit higher. The next day was like 3,000 something. So but that 4,000 day was awesome. Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
I
So you did
interrupted
like
you.
4,000. I
Yeah,
did, I think, close to 3,000, and we
yeah.
looked at each other's books. Like we compared, like what did you sell, and I think we only sold one book that was the same that day. So
Hmm.
Victor sold 4,000 books, $4,000 worth of books in a day. I sold almost $3,000 worth of books in a day, and we
Right.
sold one book that was the same. It's
Yeah.
just, or it might have actually been zero. So
No,
yeah,
it was zero, but there was one book that you had in your inventory.
yeah,
That was kind of crazy. That was
yeah,
like, oh, that's the only book I know is in my inventory. I recognize a few of these books I don't have in my inventory. We talked about that.
yeah.
It was crazy to see. Yeah. Has
All
that
right.
video
So
come out or
no,
not?
it's gonna come out soon. This is the next video
Okay.
to come out. All right.
Okay.
So let's go and take a look at some of these videos here, or not videos. Take a look at some of these books here. So here's a book that we'll look at the ones we thought were potentially like higher ROI. So let's look at the
Okay.
two books that look like the biggest difference between purchase price and sales price.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's cool.
first one I got here is public finance and public policy. So we're sitting down here right around 25. Offer count, what I liked is about 39. At the same time last year's 45. It's kind of even though it does have seasonality to it, it's kind of year round still, which I like. Um, and if we actually look at the Amazon listing here, there is a new edition. But if you look at the new edition, let's take a look over there. One reason why I still decided I would buy this book, even though there is a new edition, is because this book's price is really really high. I mean, this book's price is still at
Hmm.
$180,
Hmm.
still going super strong. So that didn't worry me. And then so then my decision was, all right, well, how many prime offers are there? Are there any mega textbook sellers? If there's any mega textbook sellers, then I'm definitely going to limit how much I'd buy, probably just to one. And so I was like, all right, this is good. There's only a few low copies in the 35s. Amazon resells on, but they only got one. That's okay. and it goes
That's
up
not
to
bad.
60,
Yeah, that's
70.
good.
And I saw Rock City Books at 72. I was like, all right, okay. So I know I need to compete with Rock City Books there. So I was like, all right, I would just go one on this book. And one thing that Victor and I always recommend, right, is go wide rather than deep. There's no
Yeah.
reason to buy a bunch of copies of one book, especially if you don't have much capital, just because there's so many more books that you could potentially buy. So that was the first book. The second book that I thought had a high potential or high
And so
differential.
you only bought one of that book. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
interrupt you there, but you only
Yep.
bought one book because of Rock City Book having 72. Otherwise, you would
Correct.
probably bought more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Postpartum uh, document. So this looks like a very niche book. And so I said on my spreadsheet, I think we could buy
Mhm.
this for 29, sell for 80, put them in at 75, the max at 100. And if I'm looking at the Keeper graph, I see some sales here September through February, very infrequently. Again, this is a book that Victor wouldn't have looked at, right? Because it doesn't sell a ton, but sells over 100, like has sold over 100, recently a little bit less in the 60s and 70s. A little bit of a repricing war going down here. But again, if you look at, its historical data since 2020, I mean, it has sales in the 140s, even higher. So I said, all right, let's pick that book up for 29. Be a little bit more conservative, target 80 bucks on that, but 75 is a min, 100 as a max is what I go on that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do the same with Victor. We're gonna look at the potential, like the two books with the highest differential. So, like, I want to look at this one right here, 19 to 74.
Yeah. And then there's one that's like 64 underneath that, 64 to
64.
140. The third,
Yeah, let's
third
look at
go.
this one right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, Victor and I source side by side, and these are, you know, different books, right? So people always ask us, like, if I join BookMine, isn't everyone else going to buy my books? Well, I mean, here we are completely buying different books. I went ahead and looked at BookMine score first. Victor looked at Selling Meter. I mean, there's basically over 3,000 books that we're going to show you on BookMine, and there's so many ways to filter them out. But the thing is, a lot of them are actually books that have
Mhm.
been vetted. I mean, a lot. I mean, a lot of those books that you're seeing are there for a reason, right? They may
Right.
not be books that they might not all be books you should buy, but certainly a much larger percentage of them than if you're just doing normal keep sourcing.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this just dipped down here to 60. It's a teacher edition. I've actually sold this teacher edition, and
Yeah. It's a great teacher's
yeah.
edition. Is it a California book? Because
Um,
it's Big
it's
Ideas.
Common Core. So
Yeah.
I know that my high school used it.
Okay.
Um, and let's see if I'm pretty sure I have sold this. Let me just let's see. Let me double check. Okay, maybe I haven't sold it. Maybe there's an algebra one that's like the same sort of
Yeah.
look to it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you'd say buy this one at your goal was $64 and sell
Yeah.
for about 140.
Yeah.
And if you kind of look, yeah, last September, November did well. I mean, the prices are a little bit lower right now just because there's a new offer on the listing at 103, which is probably bringing the prices down a little bit here. But let's see, they're probably not even a prime offer.
They're,
Yeah,
they're
so
not, and I only saw them having like one or two copies. So
yeah, so
basically,
yeah,
yeah, sell those two or three out, and you're back at 140 pretty quickly. So that's
yeah,
why I was like, yeah,
yeah,
140. I mean, that you're gonna make really good profit off of that. If buying at 60, selling 140.
yeah.
Yeah.
Teachers editions do really well. I
Mhm.
sell so many teachers editions, and sell them for some pretty good money. So next one, we got good old Betty Crocker. Okay,
Yeah.
couple things to note about Betty Crocker's. There's a ton of books.
Yeah.
There's a ton of versions. So you got to make sure it's the right version.
Yeah. That's a good
What
point.
I mean by that is you might think you're buying this book, but receive a different version of the book that has a
Yeah.
different listing. So that's the only thing you got to be kind of careful with. But we consider this a college book. I mean, not college book. A Christmas
Christmas
book.
book.
You
Yeah.
can see in November and December how well the offer count dives here. So it went from 38 down here to 16. So literally over a 2-week time period, went in half. And if you kind of look at the last 40, 100 days, you can see that dips in offer count always coincide with November, December. So here, then the
Hmm.
next year there, then the next year
Hmm.
here always coincides with it. So let's see, last November, December, the lowest use price was in the 50s, right? Getting in the
Right.
50s, and the buy box was at times getting into 70s or the 80s as well, which is pretty wild, pretty insane. Now we're down here about 15 bucks again, and so I think you said the target price on that would be, let's see, this ends in 168. So which one is 168? So you said buy for 19, sell for up to 70. Yeah. So I might target a little bit lower on it, but I think it could definitely sell in
Oh,
that.
it's because the used offer count is lower.
Right, right. Okay, it's going down a little bit, right? at this point in time, right?
To where
I
it was
see.
a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
It's at 28 now versus 40 last year. So we're looking at it's interesting, right? It's kind of an anomaly. You're looking at a book go down in price, but you're also looking at its offer count go down.
Mm-hmm.
So those are really good signs. Think about that logically. This thing is getting cheaper, even though there's less people selling it. It should be the opposite way, which is why BookMine is awesome. Because on Keepa, you can't make those things talk to each other. On Keepa, it's just individual data points, but BookMine allows us to put all that stuff together and bring out a BookMine score for you, right?
Yeah, when you put a lot of data points together, from a lot of different places, you're
Yeah.
able to find you were able to find magic. And
Mhm.
that's what we're doing here. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I would say that was what 15 minutes combined.
Yeah,
Both of
15 minutes.
us
Yeah.
found 31 different individual books, 31 unique copies. So
And how many units altogether? Like what,
okay,
50,
so we're
40?
looking. So you went with
That's
the okay. I need to like sum this up, right?
yeah.
Equals sum
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Oh, something like this. Wait, F2 diff 0. Why is it 0?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Equals sum.
And close it.
I'm doing something wrong here. But we're looking at, I mean, over 30, right? Well over 30.
Yeah,
Well over 30.
maybe because it's text. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or like
I think it's plain text, right? That's why. I think I made it plain text. So we'll go format number, right?
yeah.
See if that works. Hopefully it does. If not, yeah. So 43. So essentially 43 copies is what Victor would have bought there. And again, he went the seasonal route. I went like the all year round. So
I feel
43
like
plus
I
14.
cheated, but this is the
Yeah, so
competition.
57,
Yeah.
57 total copies.
Okay.
And again, that was 2 people sourcing, right?
Mhm.
And you know, both Victor and I have been selling books for like 7 years, so we've looked at easily. Each of us have looked at over 100,000 keepographs
So
easily.
all we're really doing is looking for a pattern,
Yeah,
right? That's what we're doing. We're like trying to spot that pattern. We see it and we know that's a really good book. Oh, we look at it, we're like, okay, yeah, definitely that's a book. Go buy it. Definitely, and that's just it runs through our head like that.
yeah,
So this is
like
actually a really good book if it was just one book. If it was
yeah,
just
like
one book,
ignore the
that
fact that
pattern
this is
is awesome.
ignore that this is a 26 volume set. But if
Yeah,
this were one book, this is an amazing pattern.
yeah, quick, go buy
Any
it.
day and time, right? And this is what I'll say, like just look at the use price. So look at the use price first, the
Yeah.
black line, right? So you go left to right over a 1 year period. Victor, give me a random date over the last year.
October 10th.
October 10th. All right, so we're gonna look at October 10th, which would have been right about here. What was
Yeah.
the use price? If you wanted to buy this book, so let's pretend it was a single book. How much would you have to pay on October 10th?
$160.
160. I'll give me another
Yeah.
random date.
January 18th.
January 18th. All right, we go to January 18th, which would be right around here. Okay. How much would you
Yeah.
have to pay for this book if you want on January 18th?
175. Yeah.
All right, someone in the chat, give me a random date for the last year. Tell me. So, and then Victor, you can give me
Yeah.
one more date, Victor, random date, and then you can give me someone in the chat. Give me another random date.
Okay, August 5th.
August 5th.
Yeah, and then so
Let's
156. And then let's think. Okay, December 8th.
December 8th. All right, so December 8th would be right here. If you wanted to buy this, it would be
December
185.
31st, Rosemary said.
What'd you say? December 31st?
Yeah.
Okay, December 31st. We can zoom in. It would have been right here. The price was 167. So what point am I
literally
trying to
every
make here,
day.
Victor?
Yeah. Yeah.
What,
That the book the entire year was right around $160 at least.
yeah.
All year long. That's what we're trying to prove here, right?
Except for today, right?
Except for today. Yeah.
Which is what price?
$68.
$68.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I would recommend buying this because this is a large set. But the point is, if this were a single book, and Victor and I talked about patterns, right? If you can find a book that is currently listed at a price significantly lower than what it normally is listed at the entire year, and there's a proven track record that the book sells, you're in the money. How do you know that there's a proven track record that the book sells, Victor?
Well, first off, you look at the black line, right? And that's what we normally do. And then the next thing up is the sales rank drops. So we see a ton of sales rank drops all year long. That's a proven track record that this book is selling. So when this book is 160, people are buying it. So that means to us, this book is worth $160, right? Like, okay, when it's 160, people are buying that book. Cool. That to us means that that's how much this book is worth. we're just
Absolutely.
listening to the market, right? We're
Yeah.
listening to how much somebody is willing to purchase the book for.
Yep. Here's a similar pattern. So same sort of thing here at calculus. And same thing. I mean, not as extreme of an example. It's been listed at right around like $15, and then it just dropped down here down to $4. Now, this book is an example of an AP edition, or this is a high school book, right? That did
Yeah,
perform really well, and kind of over the recent past hasn't done well. But you kind of notice that the offer count's coming down a little bit,
yeah.
which is interesting. So
It's a
same
really
sort
neat,
of
it's a really niche AP book. I used
yeah,
to buy it and sell it, and recently stopped because the demand of that book is kind of
yeah,
waned.
yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see if there's any questions, and then we'll get into looking at how you source with some of those seasonal books.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what we got here. That was fun. This was fun, guys. Agrees you should do this at the conference. Got to run. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was my father-in-law. And yeah, he's definitely coming to the conference. So
awesome.
that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see him there, and he's gonna get to meet all of us. So that's also really exciting. I mean, of course I met him, but like you guys get to meet him. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Cindy says, "Would you still buy high school books?" There are certain high school books that will still sell really well year round that hold their value. Specifically, like high school or specifically teachers editions. In those
Mhm.
cases, I'm looking at those year round. But Victor's certainly the expert. So why don't you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, you can see what books I didn't get to you didn't get to see my screen, but I went
Mhm.
first with winter books, right? So I sourced those first because that is definitely the what we should be like focused in on right now. And I did look, and then I went to look at some high school books. But I looked at high school books that I believe will have a longer season than just August. So like
Right.
that teacher's edition book will have a season almost all year long, and so that's one of them. But yeah, if right now, if you're gonna buy a high school book, basically you gotta have to merchant fulfill it
Yeah.
because the season's now, right? Matter of fact, this coming Monday will probably be a huge day for people who buy high school books.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah,
good. Good question. Chelsea says, "Your buy cost, did you include shipping?" I did. I don't know if you did, Victor. I did
I
the
did
all-in
too.
price.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did the
right.
all-in price. Yep.
Yeah, I added $4, so
Yeah,
whatever the price was, I added
$4.
$4 and was
Same.
like, yeah, buy
Yep,
that book at that
exactly the
price.
same.
Yeah,
Let's see. Would you take in consideration the estimated sales per month on Solid? I would not. No. I
yeah.
just look at yeah.
I don't look that at all. A matter of
Yeah.
fact, I don't even have seller amp. So
Yeah.
I just look at the green drops and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and I go and buy the book based on historical green drops, like the
Yeah.
sales rank drops, and then that's
Yeah.
how many I buy. I don't look at stuff like that. I also don't look at e-score. I don't even
Yeah.
know when people tell me, "Oh, the e-score is 10." Is that good?
Yeah.
I probably it's better than 0, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So
It's
for me, it's the green drops that are happening on Keepa.
and we don't want you to think that means we're ignoring data. That's not what we
Yeah,
mean. What we mean
yeah,
is that we've sold books long enough that we
mhm,
recognize which sort of patterns exist for this particular book for us to want to buy multiple, like 3 copies or 5 copies or one
yeah,
copy. So we've been through so many seasons of selling books on Amazon. We know, okay, this is dropped. The sales rank has dropped a few times over this year. Don't buy more than 1 copy. It's not gonna. This book doesn't sell very often. Or hey, this book sales rank gets really, really low during December. There's a bunch of sales rank drops. It gets really,
mhm,
really low. Oh, you can go 4 or 5 on this. How do we know that? Because we've done it year after year after year. And in the beginning, when I was, let's say, not so well versed in it, I would buy multiple copies of a book that didn't have very many sales rank drops. And I was like, oh, hey, yeah, this book sold 1 copy and the other 3 are just sitting there for the next year. So it's like you learn through trial and error. So don't think that we're ignoring data. It's just that we don't necessarily need that. And it's the like you could think of a sales estimator like that as training wheels. It's like, okay, well, you could use those training wheels until you get your footing and you understand how from experience, like how many times a book would sell. And then you'll get to the point where it's not really necessary anymore.
yeah. I agree with you. That's right.
Nathan says, I get so many wrong version deliveries. Yeah, that is quite annoying, and make sure you're getting those returned because that could be a major hole in your business if you're not getting books that you received incorrectly, like returned, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Since I bought 4 when you looked at it before. Nice. Nice. She's Rosemary says I get many wrong version
Yeah,
deliveries on Bibles. Yep.
I think that and Betty Crocker cookbook also I get wrong
Yeah.
delivery. So like I get like half of them right, but still it's such a profitable book that yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with sending that book back. And
Yeah.
so until I get the right version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, so if you buy some of them on eBay, then you could also, if there are pictures, you could look at the pictures as well. That would help you.
Yeah,
The other
that's a
thing
good
though is
point.
like we always recommend, if you can buying on Amazon because you have that invoice from Amazon that you could supply. So certainly if you buy multiple copies of a book, then if you bought at least one of them on Amazon, at least you have an invoice that you could show.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you have?
Yeah,
Can I present my screen for a second? I
yeah,
want to
go
show
for it.
you.
Go for
Okay,
it.
so because we were talking about eScore and stuff, and
Yeah.
also like scanning apps. So there's a guy in my Facebook group who
Mhm.
just found a palette of high school books, right? And asked me, or just was saying like, okay, out of the books that I just got, these are all the duds. And I couldn't believe that he thought these were duds. I was like, yeah, he scanned them and they're all duds. And I'm like, do you see there's a teacher's edition over here?
Yeah.
Like, so I circled it and I was like, that's a great book. But in his scanning app, it showed that they were almost never sold, right? Because it wasn't high school textbook season yet. So it was showing as a dud and it was probably like $10 right now. But here in the next couple of weeks, this book is going to get up to $40. And I was like, okay, you need to go and sell that book. Like even a merchant fulfill it. That book's great. This book over here, I was like, at least get 14, 15. You got these for free, so at least sell these for merchant fulfilled at 14, $15. And then I saw this book over here on the side, and I was like, oh, I also recognize this high school book at $40. I'm all that to say, don't necessarily believe the scanning apps because it doesn't take seasonality into consideration. So
Right.
there you go.
Very good. Yeah, and that's what's so funny, right? So many people are passing up the books at Goodwill that are, let's say, Christmas books because they're
Yeah.
worth like $3 the whole year. They're
Mhm.
like the lowest price is $3. Every time someone scans it, red, 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 and then people scan it. Interestingly, in December, let's say
Yeah.
December, they're at a thrift store on December 22nd, and now the
Yeah.
price is $30. Now this is accept. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a great Christmas book, and they send it in. By the time it gets to the warehouse, it's like January 18th, and now
Yeah.
the
Past
book is gonna
Christmas.
tank, and it's gonna go
Yep.
down to nothing, right? So
Right. You can see that happening actually, like in those type of deals. Like you can see a ton of people sending it in, and then
yeah.
it does the same exact cycle year in and year out. So
Nathan says I was late. What does the loser have to do? Oh man, what is the loser? Yeah, we didn't think that far. All I know is I think I got the silver medal this time, but silver medal's still good, right?
I
So
actually thought you were going to win. I was like, oh, it sounds like you were over there hustling, but I was like, I'm gonna go with my, pat and true method over here, and
yeah,
it's just do high school books
yeah,
and winter books. So
yeah.
yeah,
Let's see. The bottom right corner calculates what you highlight
yeah.
automatically. Okay.
Ooh, that was from Excel.
Yeah, December 8th. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
those are
right.
the
That's right.
dates. Yeah,
Okay, those are the dates. Do you buy from warehouse deals? I try not to. Very rarely. Only if it's like an amazing deal. There's only one copy. It's like new condition, but most of the time I stay away from it. What about you, Victor?
if the warehouse has like one or two copies, if they have like 50 copies, I'm saying away altogether. That to me is a completely different book this year, unfortunately, because the warehouse deal algorithm will bring that price down to like $5, and I don't want to deal with that. But if it's like one or two copies, and if it's in condition of like very good or better, then I'm buying it, right? So very good or like new, I'll buy it. But anything under that, I mean, I've had like new books come in and as acceptable. I've had like new books come in as like the front cover has been torn off. So I've had to return those. So like I'm only buying only at the best quality of that book, and again, also very rarely. So yeah,
Yeah, very good.
yeah,
Michelle, if tomorrow is big day for high school books, which day would we want to reprice down some?
yeah. So tomorrow's the first big day. Tomorrow I'm thinking I'll probably get right around $4,000. I'm not exactly sure. Like I can't guarantee that, but we're not. I mean, we're basically on the first great week. Next week will actually be the best. Like will be I'd say close to the peak. For high school books, probably the 12th will probably be the best. I'm not considering starting to reprice my books, like the books that have like left over, until maybe like the 21st. So that's probably when I would do repricing of high school books. So we got a wall. I wouldn't worry about that. Probably every day you're going to be selling a ton of high school books, even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice, nice. Awesome. We got Victor, your brother-in-law. It's your brother-in-law. Yes, so.
no, I don't have. That's not my brother-in-law.
Okay. People know you. Fun session, great idea. The cookbooks. Cookbooks do great, really
Yeah,
well during Christmas. I don't mess with Betty Crocker's anyone. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. So you must have had a bad experience getting like the wrong ones, but they're still worth it. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 really, really good
yeah.
ones. what I'd recommend, Michelle, is that maybe you just ship them to your house. I don't know,
Yeah.
and then you can do that.
Or only buy them off eBay. Like
Yeah,
what people will actually take pictures of them. So if you
yeah,
can actually see the actual version of that book that the seller has and it matches, then okay. And if not, then don't. There's a few books that I only will buy if I can see the actual version. Somebody's actually taking a picture of it because I'm getting so many wrong copies. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Nathan says, "Why would a book be gold for several days in BookMine? Wouldn't they be bought out by BookMine users?" So just remember that what we're trying to do is find books that are very likely to be profitable, but there's no way that we can create a software. It's like 100% of the books are like you could just blind buy them all, and every
Mm,
single one of them would be profitable because
mm,
even though we've been able to massage the data so well and show you like the absolute best potential books that you should be buying, there's still going to be some books that you shouldn't buy, right? What we
right.
tend to say is like when you think of keep a deals, keep a product finder sourcing, you might be thinking 3 to 5% of the books you're coming across would be good deals. On Bookmine, it's probably more like 30, 40% of the books you're coming across are like pretty solid books that you should be buying. And so that means is if you have, let's say, a book that's gold and it's sitting there for a long time, it just means that people have decided not to buy it, but eventually it will fall off. Anything else to say, Victor?
Yeah. So when I'm seeing like a book mine gold deal, basically a book that we rated 8 or higher, that's just sitting there. When I click on it, I'm like, okay, why is it still here? Why has no one bought it? And it makes me feel good actually when you guys haven't bought it, because when I'm realizing, oh, okay, you guys realize the things that we've told you not to buy,
Yeah.
like you've decided not to. So for instance, that I've seen some gold books that have the year in the title. I'm like, okay, you guys didn't buy it. Well done. Or like I'm also seeing like law books that the new edition is out. So that's something also that BookMine is not taking uh, into consideration, is if there's a new law book in stock, it doesn't show that, like it doesn't negatively affect that, and so it'll still be gold. But those books, you probably don't want to buy them because, again, in law books, they drop quick. When
Yeah.
a new law book comes out, the old law book can go from like
Oh,
150
man.
down to like
Good,
40
bad.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's happened on those gold books that I'm seeing. It's something else that you guys have found and decided that not to buy it. And I
And
mean, well done.
yeah, and these are things that we've learned the hard way, right? So we've
Hmm.
learned them the hard way. We've lost money on books like that,
Yeah,
5, 6, I mean, I mean, we still lose money on some books, right? It's
right.
not, you can't be 100% profitable in every book, but on the overwhelming majority of books were very, very profitable. And then there's that last, 20, 30% we have to break even or sell at a loss. But the other 60, 70% carries us so far over that it doesn't really matter. And I tell this a lot that part of the game is actually figuring out how to get that last 20, 25% of books that are not performing as well as you
Mm,
thought, just getting them sold at a break even price or even at
yep,
a loss so that you can
right.
recuperate that money and put it back into those books that are going to do well. Because if let's say 7 out of 10 books you're buying are going to do really well, then you just need the capital to keep buying more and more books so that you keep hitting those
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
Now, is it too late to buy college books in the current season? Yeah, definitely for the August textbook season. But what's going to happen here after the season wraps up in January, Victor?
Yeah, so in January we're gonna have a quick. I mean, it's gonna happen again really quickly here in January. So start building up your college textbooks for January. So yeah, like even if you miss the season, there's some like late blooming college books that you can probably still merchant fulfill that really don't start popping until the beginning of September. You
Yeah,
might be able to do that, but yeah, even if you miss that, I mean, January is really close by. So
yeah,
that's still good to source right now. Like I said, high school books probably not so much, because
yeah.
like high school books only has like one season, right? This
But what
kind
what
of like
season
July and
would
August.
be good season would be good right now would be some Halloween books, some
Hmm.
Thanksgiving books. There's
Yeah,
some books about September 11th.
yeah,
August actually that's too short, probably too close now. But there's Thanksgiving, like I mentioned, there's
yeah,
Christmas, there's
yeah,
Hanukkah.
yeah.
So those are coming up. Those would be good. And again, the shortest turnaround time for college textbooks is going to be when January comes up because this textbook season, August, September's get in. Then you're going to get into October, November, where you get a lot of these college books getting lower, which gives you an opportunity to turn them really quick in January.
Yeah,
Reason why the distance is shorter between this, August textbook season and January is because there's no summer in between
yeah,
where kids
right,
are not at school, right? So
right.
this is a quick season, quick turnaround time there. But there's all year round books. Like I source pretty much all year round books, and I found
Hmm.
like 15 books in 15 minutes, like a book a minute. And
Right.
Victor found he did all seasonal. So what I would recommend is right now searching mainly for all year round books, and then
Mhm.
again looking for some of those like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and
Yeah.
then also Victor, you I don't really do these very much, but you say you do well with like books about like it's New Year's, right? So it's books about
Oh,
health.
okay, yeah, like Bibles that are my 1 year Bible or
Yeah,
365 days for my goal. Like
yeah,
those type of random things
yeah,
also do well in January. Also like losing weight books, right? Because like they had a great Christmas and now they're trying to lose weight. Like literally January of those type of books are great. So yeah, source those. Also, right now we're in the Olympics, right? And we're the Olympic side in Paris, right? If you had thought about that 2 to 3 months ago, all of those books are now sky high. They're literally everything about Paris is pretty high. I'm just noticing those examples, and I didn't really take advantage of it this year, but that would be good for the next Olympic cycle to kind of remember that.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And so Jim says, fun show, great idea. I think losers should have to shave their head at the conference. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
My wife would never forgive me if I lost, Victor. She'd never forgive me if I lost. Okay, so again, you guys go to
I
BookMine.
basically I feel like I cheated. That's what
No,
happened.
you didn't cheat. I
Yeah,
said no rules.
yeah.
I kind of
Well,
knew what I thought what would happen, and I mean,
yeah,
it's fine. I think even though, yeah, I'll say I took the silver this time, I still am not, sad at all with the books I came across.
yeah, yeah.
So,
The
again, you guys can
quality, I
go.
mean, you had to dig a little bit harder than me. For me, I just clicked on Christmas books and almost every one of them was like, yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
and we
yeah,
actually do need to show people how you would do that. So again, you
yeah,
guys, if you did wanna try out BookMine, you guys could try out, either the Gold Pen or Gold Prospector free trials there. Not the Gold Miner one because that's a one-on-one with Victor and I, but, those are the options if you guys did wanna join. What I wanted to show you was how Victor sourced seasonal books because, again, unfortunately, you weren't able to see his screen, only my screen, but if you guys do wanna see another version, if you wanna see round 2 head-to-head Victor versus Joji, let us know in the comments, and we'll have Victor share his screen.
yeah.
You guys will see his sourcing, and then I'll source, and you guys won't see me. But let us know in the comments. I guess you guys can, go and put, round 2 in the chat if you guys, are up for that sometime in the future. But Victor, can you talk to us a little bit about how you found some of those Christmas books here at BookMine?
Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty simple. We which is really cool about BookMine. There's no other software that even comes close to this idea. Is that we do our best to actually type books, right? So we have in our software winter books. We have Christmas. Well, those are Christmas books. We have high
Yeah,
school books, college books, all year round books, and sometimes we'll have summer books in there.
right.
And so all I did was just click on winter, and it popped up all the winter books that are up there, and basically just started sourcing from this list. You basically my whole list is most of these books. I
Yep,
think I turned down two
yep,
of this entire list, and just the rest of my source from them. So it's pretty simple. It's I'd say for a beginner, we had some beginners right
right.
in the chat, and so they don't necessarily know Keepa so much, but this is pretty simple to see. When a book for the majority of the year, the black line is usually low, like March, April, May, June. When the black line is just really low to the ground, and then in November and December, kind of like the black line moves up, like in this particular example,
Yep,
that's a Christmas book. So you'll know, hey, buy it when it's low, like right around now, because nobody's thinking about Christmas, right?
mhm,
And then sell it during Christmas, right? So buy it like at $5-10 and sell it during Christmas for more than double or triple the price. And so
yep,
that's all I did on books like this.
yep, and there's quite a few. Here's another one right here.
Yeah,
One says Christmas, pictorial guide to Christmas ornaments and collectibles. So you can see that did really well, and same sort of thing, right? You're buying in these dips, which would
hmm,
be considered, the off season when people don't care about Christmas, right?
right,
Nobody's thinking about Christmas right now. People don't think
right.
about Christmas until November and then December.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of Christmas books here, a lot of cookbooks as well. Cookbooks do well. Um, but any sort of book that shows that pattern, that's something that we're looking out for. So that's cool.
Yeah,
And one thing that you'll see actually is when Christmas is over, when we get to, let's say, January, February, March, when those prices start coming down, you're going to start seeing a ton of winter books show up, right? Because
yeah,
that's when the prices are dropping a lot, and so that'd be a good idea for you to go back and track those books as well. Um, so yeah,
yeah.
that makes
Exactly.
sense.
That's all I did was click on those books, buy those first, and then and then went to some high school books.
Yeah.
That was my whole 20 minutes or
Lynn
15
says
minutes.
that Lynn says I like doing seasonal books like Victor, not Scout IQ because it confuses me how to price. Yeah, so Scout
Yeah.
IQ and Scoutly and any other scanning app uses live data to make decisions about what you should sell a book at, which it makes sense on the face of it, but when you think about what we're doing, we're actually buying the book in the live market, and we need to therefore reference historical data in order to make a decision about what we should buy it for. So what I love about it as well, about online book arbitrage is that you can look at any books, keep a graph and identify intrinsic value, and you could go, hey,
Hmm.
is this a book I should be buying at this price because it's worth way more than that? And remember, we're buying from merchant fulfilled sellers, so we're probably buying books. Most of the books we're buying are from people who are using Scoutly and Scout IQ and
Yeah.
pricing it according to what the live data tells them to price it at.
Right.
So we're kind of taking advantage of that and exploiting it, but it's because we have more knowledge, right? So
Yeah. So when I mean, it's good to kind of understand when you scan a book, it's only pulling the live data of the data point today. It's a snapshot in time of today, and it gives you the whether or not it turns green based on just the data today, not the actual last year of that book. And so if you look at Keepa, a lot of times the books that are red would be green if you looked at the last year, and
right.
that's where those type of scanning apps have challenges, and that's why people like us exist, right? Like we're
Yeah.
able to take advantage of people who aren't realizing that these books are much more valuable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let's see. No school for Joji. I know, which is crazy. I would actually have to go back to work in 4 days.
That's awesome on its own, right? I
That's
mean, I
awesome
think
on
we
its
should
own.
all like literally that is awesome, Joji.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
4 days. That
That's
seems
pretty
pretty hit.
every time we talk about this, literally there's a smile that comes from your
Yeah,
face, like just for
4
like
days
20
from
minutes, you're like, wow, I can't believe that. That's right.
I know 4 days from now, I'd have to be back there. I'd have
Yeah.
to be back at and again, I don't want you guys to think like I hated it. I didn't hate it at all, but
Yeah.
it's so nice. Every day is like a weekend. It's like
Yeah.
and actually, I was thinking the other day, Victor, I was like, "Oh, today's Saturday." I was like, "Ah, dang it. That means there's gonna be more people out." Because I guess when it's the weekday, right, there's less people out because people are working, right? And I was like,
Uh-huh.
anyways,
No, that's
I'm just
big.
having a lot of fun with it right now.
Yeah.
Bob says was not on my computer earlier, so I made a copy of the spreadsheet. I'll go back later and track those books. That's the
That's
man
a good
putting in the
idea.
work right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, good question, Jan. When you say a 4K day, is that profit?
So Jan, every day that I'm selling 4,000, I'm making like $1,500 in profit, at least. And so today, like yesterday was 3,000, so it's a little over $1,000 in profit. So yeah, I mean, my total profit like in my pocket is well over 30%. I would say on average 30 to 35% is what actually my end of day profit of my sales are. So that's when I'm saying numbers, just multiply that by like 0.35 and you realize how much I'm profiting per day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Very good there.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go on to the next comment here. Get your 10-day free trial BookMine down below.
Yeah.
Says BookMine. I've sold 40 BookMine purchases for average sales price of
Yeah.
1786. I think you mean purchase probably. For average
Average sales price.
wait, average because I've sold 40 BookMine purchases for 17. It seems too low.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I think
think
you
he bought him
purchase.
for that.
Yeah, I
Probably
think your
17.
purchase
Yeah.
price, right? Your
Yeah.
average
Yeah.
purchase price. Yeah,
Hmm.
17 and yeah, nice. Fee tracker as well. Nice.
Yeah. Well done.
Michelle says
Great numbers.
my orders show I sold 5 copies of the book, but I only sent in 3. I assume the extra 2 will fall off at some point, but do you see this very often or know why it happens? Honestly, whenever Amazon makes a mistake, I'm just like, they'll figure it out or they won't, whatever. It's such a small percentage of kind of I use that headspace to like focus more on like sourcing. So in this case, and this also happened to somebody else where it's like they're making they were reaching out to me, they were making some purchases on their Amazon account. For some reason, it wasn't charging them sales tax, even though they're not sales taxes. And I'm like, well, Amazon's gonna figure it out. I would just consider yourself lucky at this moment and just full well know that you're probably gonna need to pay the sales tax eventually. But in this case, Michelle, I would say Amazon's probably like, "Oh, dang it, we screwed something up," and it'll probably end up, being okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. When you first start out, you start trying to worry about every specific order. But when you finally get into it a little bit longer, which Michelle you have, like, so basically what I'm saying is once you start selling a ton of books, you realize that you don't have enough brain power to be focused in on every sell like that. So I tend to just let it happen, and one of these days it'll work itself out. And if it doesn't, somehow I sold 5 books, even though I only had 3.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Bob meant to say profit, an average profit. So let's go back to Bob said, "I've
Oh,
sold
that's
3,
awesome.
average
Yeah.
profit of 17 each and 66 V tracker for an average profit." Okay.
Yep.
Average profit of 17, 18 bucks. That's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Seagull says the first book on Joji's list has another variation on the same listing. Okay, is this a problem? All right, let's see if we can't look at it then. So let's go and take a look. I know I'm not sharing my screen right now, but I have to. Let's actually look at a second. Keep it, and then Victor, would you mind? Let me share my screen now. Would you mind just telling me what the number is?
Okay.
I think it's this one.
So it's 0714.
Yep.
Are you going to type that in? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
871311. I didn't know you were already typing it in.
Okay, so this one has another variation. Okay, has another variation. So we can do this.
All right.
Could copy that, and we could just go right over to. Let's go to add a product, and let's go and type this in. Let's see if there's 2 products. Okay, maybe it's this one right here. Okay, so there's that one. Maybe this one right here. Floor. Okay. So 2024, and this one that we're looking at, let's see, came out in 2016. So looking potentially like it's a newer edition or a newer edition of the book potentially.
Okay.
Or maybe Seagull, if you could also put in
What the newer variations?
the new, if
like
you could put in the ASIN.
the ASIN,
I'm not
yeah.
finding here. Yeah, there's one that's 52 days old. It came out potentially on May 23rd.
Yeah, and that book I would definitely not list it on that.
Yeah, it would not. It would also be the wrong book as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's that one. Yeah, so maybe if you can find it, then let me know there. We also had some awesome comments here. Let's see. Ooh, Rosemary, I got a free Kamala Harris book on the States Go. I thought it was a dud until she decided to run for president. She actually,
Yeah.
there's one book that she has that's, I think it's called Smart on Crime. Let's go and take a look at it. That really popped off well. Smart on Crime.
I think while you do that, also we're not a political channel.
Yeah.
We just see green.
Yeah,
right? We buy books off of data. I buy President Trump's books, I buy Kamala Harris books, I buy Biden's books. I'm wanting to buy books that are profitable, right?
Yeah.
I want to buy them at a low price and sell them at a higher price. That is the goal. A lot of times I'm not even seeing the cover. I'm just buying data.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we should note that. Okay, so what's interesting is that this book was listed since November for $21, went up to $40, was sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
Doesn't really look like it was selling, and then eventually it sold out, and now it's at $450, and there's been a couple, a new condition. There's been a few sales ring drops.
Wow.
Morning Crime book. If you go to eBay,
I bet there's actually, because that book doesn't have an ASIN, so I bet there's actually an ISBN number.
Yeah, let's do the same thing here. Let's go to Smart on Crime. Okay, so 669,000. Yeah, I think this book, for whatever reason, there's not very many.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. So it's just, I don't know. It's just not found anywhere. I don't know. It's maybe a rarer book. But one really good book that you guys should be looking out for is one of Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Comeback. It's a really good book that pops. And again, we're not a political channel, so whether or not you love or hate him or love or hate any politician, it's all about, we're all about a channel about book selling, right? Like, what are the opportunities? What can you learn from any book about anything? So here's a book that before Donald Trump ran for presidency was worth a penny. It's a penny plus $3.99 shipping. It was essentially worthless.
Yeah.
Worthless, right?
Right.
Ran for office.
For us, right, to sell it.
Right. Worthless for us to sell it, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't have any value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he ran for presidency, ended up winning presidency. This book went up at times up to $170, ebbed and flowed because, his presidency was, contentious. Yeah. And then you can see there's basically been times where this book went up and down. And then anyways, you can see actually what happened here recently with this recent dive was when there was that assassination attempt and the price.
Yeah. I was about to say, anytime that he's like really on the news, like when he's making the front page of the newspaper, that's when his book really spikes. So that's when you're kind of being able to tie that to those events. And yeah, I mean, I suggest anytime that book is getting under like $30, probably buy it, Joji. I don't
I
know,
mean, even
somewhere
less
around
than
there.
that. Most of the copies I bought for like under 15. So you can
Okay,
see
so buy it
recently
for 15.
46,
Okay,
67,
yeah.
79, 79, 8. So paying attention to seasonal events really does matter as well. Or not, I mean not seasonal events, but like popular news or things that are going on, um, you know, in real life. So
Yeah.
there's that. Jan says round two. Let's
Mhm.
see. Why do you consider new edition books, and also what high used offer count should be avoided? All right. So it depends on the book here, but used offer count, like if it's a seasonal book and it's doubling or tripling, or if the offer count today relative to the same day last year is way higher, that's
Mhm.
generally a red flag, or at least
Mhm.
it's at least a yellow flag.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
so it's a book that say it's been out for 15 years, but suddenly now has doubled in the used offer count. That's a different book this year. So if it typically goes for like say like randomly like $60, but now the used offer count is doubled, that's not going to make it at $60 this coming year, right?
Yeah,
It's going to probably be like $40. And
yeah,
so I don't necessarily say no to it. I just know it's not going to be as high of a profitable item for me.
yeah. Rosemary, Lynn, Rob, Jim,
Round
all Bob,
two.
round two. Jim says 12 rounds.
12
Raymond says
rounds.
hoping round two is a tie so we can get round three. Uh, So Jan says you guys weren't checking for the book condition. Would that make a difference in your list? You definitely want to check for the condition. I actually was doing my best to check the condition and like use that as a way to figure out how many copies to buy. So I was like, okay, there's 3 copies here. Well, I guess I was realistic. If there are only 2 copies there, I was like, okay, we can only buy up to 2 copies. So I was like, all right, we're gonna buy both these copies. Or if there are 4 copies and I put one, that meant I was gonna say, even though there's 4 copies, I'm only gonna buy 1 copy of this book. And I was looking at the conditions as well. But yeah, generally try to buy a book in good condition or better. I do buy acceptable condition copies, specifically,
Yeah.
from Goodwills or anyone that has a high feedback rating, 95 plus percent.
Yeah, same thing with me. I'm trying to buy good copies. If I do buy acceptable, it's from a seller with really great feedback.
Yeah.
So,
Adam says working from home can get lonely though. Yeah, it
and
can.
this is why we
Although
do this. This
this is
is
why
why
we
we
do
do these
this.
lives.
Hanging
This is
out.
why we're talking to you guys here.
Yeah.
It may be lonely, but you also don't have to deal with like your coworkers you really don't like, or customers you don't like to talk to. This is just us going and buying books whenever you have the time to do it. The rest of the time, go spend it with your family. Go for a walk. Go do what you want. So
It's the 2024 edition since he got okay, yeah. So it's a new edition that came out. And that book didn't really have much data, so
mhm.
Rosemary said I sold the Trump book too about the it's all about the green, guys. All
Yeah, it
about the
is.
green. Maybe an English version and a French version of that book. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Um yeah, maybe that's what it was. But wow, this was a lot of fun. I didn't think it was gonna be this popular, but it was incredibly profitable and popular.
Both.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
we kind of just made up this like, hey, I think people don't actually know how fast we're sourcing.
Yeah, we source pretty
Okay.
fast. We
Yeah.
source pretty fast. And we don't like even though there's a lot of data points to look at, we also can kind of gauge like where we're at with a lot of those points. Like, okay, we know to look, is there a mega textbook sale with a lot of copies? We know, out of the corner of the eye, oh, the offer count's way higher right now than it was last year. Like those are all things after many repetitions become muscle memory. And the way that I would equate it is like if you take someone who's going to a gym for the first time and teach them how to lift weights, like, all right, my elbows out, is my back
Yeah.
straight, like are my legs here, is this up, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, those are things they would teach you, and so you might do all those steps in the beginning because of the fact that you don't have much repetition, but all the pros, all the people that go to the gym every day, they're just like, "Give me the thing." Like,
Yep.
they just got the perfect technique down, and it took practice, right? But
Because they know it, because they've been
yeah,
there.
and they know it, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is it's
They're being
going to take
consistent.
it's
Right.
consistency, it's going to take time, but if you stick with it, you can definitely become, quite advanced at it. So again, we are going to head off here soon, but Books and Beyond conference, September 13th through 15th. Got an awesome speaker lineup. You know, make sure you check out Mel. You got Amanda, Victor, Steve. We got Shanna, Central Virginia Prep, who I use to prep my inventory.
And Joji, I think it's also good to kind of say that you actually interviewed a few of these people already
Yeah.
on your channel. and
Yep.
bringing some of them back to your channel to talk about the Books and Beyond conference, because a few people on my Facebook group are like, I don't know who some of these people we're inviting, so
Yep.
we want to introduce them to the community and stuff like that. So
Right. So
yeah,
Amanda is a Whatnot seller. Just interviewed her on my channel, and she did over $50,000 profit flipping fiction books that are, typically priced. She would sell them on Whatnot for between $3 and $7. So Whatnot's a
yeah.
fascinating new sort of marketplace to sell books on. It's a live auction sort of platform where you showcase the books you're selling. It's pretty fascinating. I'd recommend watching that.
I think so, because you literally showed her like books that are $100, and she's like, I wouldn't buy that
Yeah.
book. I
No, I
was
did.
like, what? Are
Yeah.
you serious? You like,
Yeah.
nope.
I
Nah.
showed.
And then you showed her like an $8 book, and we're like, I would definitely not have this book at all. And she's like, oh, I would buy that book in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So it was crazy to see that. I was definitely watching like, no, you're gonna turn down $100 book anyway.
We have Bob as well from Bob Books.
Yeah.
I just interviewed her, posted that on my YouTube channel today, so you can actually go watch her. She it does really well with science fiction pre-ISBN books. Matter of fact, I actually had a science fiction book from, I think, the 50s or 60s that I showed her, and she knew all about it when I showed her, which is awesome. But she basically is an eBay and a Whatnot bookseller, and I just interviewed her on her channel, so definitely watch that. FBA Dave is a seven-figure bulk bookseller, so I think he did over $2 million last year in bulk books. Just interviewed him, and that video is getting edited right now. Should be out probably within a week.
Mhm.
I'm going to do my best to also interview Bill Martling. He's actually the sales director at Sell Back Your Book. If I can get Frank Browning on and Shannon Mann on, I think Victor and I are going to try to do a live. We're going to see
Yeah.
if we try to reach out to Frank and Shannon and see if they might be willing to do a live stream, or we could do like some Q&A about prep centers.
I can pull my connections and we can get Frank on.
We can get Frank on.
Yeah.
Awesome. I've already interviewed Vishal. He's a seven-figure per month bookseller. So he sells over $1 million per month
Yeah.
in books, and he's a bulk
That's crazy.
bookseller. I've interviewed John on my channel. A former bulk bookseller. I've interviewed Jameson Philippi. I've interviewed Seth. I mean, basically almost everyone here I've interviewed on my channel, so you can learn more about them. I've interviewed both Reezy and Caleb as well. Those guys are
And Shanna.
and Shanna.
Yeah.
Yep. So make sure
Prep
you
Center.
watch,
Yeah.
how to bring on a prep center. And that was a good video. So I'm really just hopefully can interview Mel here soon. That would be awesome. But just want to show you that we've got the best men and women in the book selling space that are coming in a wide variety of realms. So we're talking bulk books, eBay book selling, Whatnot book selling, Amazon book selling, online book arbitrage, thrifting, collectible book, like all that stuff. So we're trying to really build a community here. Hopefully we can see you there. It's only a month away.
And then we're
So
gonna build from this, right? This is not gonna be our only year doing this, right? This is our first year, but not our only year. So we're really wanting to build a book community, and we're just really excited to get this going, right? And we're gonna take pictures, and then every year we're gonna be like, this was our first year. So hopefully you
yeah,
guys be a part of that picture, and get to meet us in person, and of course we want to meet you guys. So
absolutely. Great interview with Amanda. Thank you. And
yeah.
again, if you like that, I think you'll like the interview with Bob as well.
Bob's great. Go watch that. That it just came out like what, a couple hours ago.
Couple hours ago.
I've
Yeah.
not even watched the whole thing yet. It's been great so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good, everyone. All right. We hope that you like this round one. Victor took it. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna have to update the thumbnail to like like me, like Victor, like knocking me out or something. You
No.
got 16, I got 15, but you got way more copies anyways. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll be like, all right, this is an all year round battle, or this is a seasonal battle.
Ooh,
So there
only
we
a
go.
round battle. That's your turf, right?
Yeah, that's my turf.
Yeah,
You
that's
better be
gonna be more.
careful
So I'm
there.
gonna have like 4 books, and I'll be like, I did it. I've got 4 books.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
remember, guys, tons and tons of opportunity. Victor and I are both doing well. I'm on track to get close to 300K again this year. Not sure where you're on track to, Victor, but we don't
I
really.
think I'm a little bit slower this year. I'm not going to get to 550, maybe like 350,
Yeah,
400,000. I don't know. Am I've been focused a little bit more on develop a BookMine and to try to help you guys out more
yeah,
than necessarily help me. But yeah, I'm still doing well with books. I'm enjoying it. It's now that I'm also trying to help you guys out. So
yeah.
yeah.
And that's what we're committed to, guys. We want you all to be great
Mm-hmm.
booksellers that
Mm-hmm.
can use it to buy back your time in some way. Even if you're making 400 or 500 extra bucks a month, even if you're replacing your full time job, you're becoming financially independent. I mean, it's awesome out here. Like I
Yeah.
said, Victor, I'd have to go back to work in 4 days. So
Yeah, I know. Every time you
Woo!
talk about that, you just keep smiling, and I'm just so
Yeah.
happy. I'm so happy for you. I am.
So nice. All right. That was an awesome session.
Yeah,
Hope
that was
we'll see.
awesome. Great
Yep.
idea, Joji. I'm
Yep.
happy we did it.
We'll see you guys here back here for round 2. Later, everybody.
All
Peace
right.
out.
Talk to you guys later.
Say goodbye in
Bye.
the chat. We appreciate your sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yes, my side. It's so hard, Jan, to
It's so.
believe. It's so hard.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
nice. I can help. I can actually be more helpful, but also I just get more time back. Spend more time with my son. I get to play more pickleball. I get to just like wake up every morning and go, oh, it's like the weekend. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
You
Awesome.
on Monday, you don't have to go to work. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry about work. Just
great.
just get to hang out. Yep.
All right, everybody, take it easy. We'll see you later. Go buy some books, $10 a day. We just
Yep.
each bought 15 books, 15 unique books in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
10 books
Go
a
buy
day.
those books. Buy those
10 books
books.
a day.
Track those books, and buy as many of them as you can. So
Yep.
yeah.
All right, everybody.
All
Take
right,
it easy.
guys. Talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye.